Welcome back, everybody, to the Warlord of SBAS plays Torment, Ties in Numenera, episode 58, I believe. Last time we did a little more exploring of the catacombs and found this musical device that we played with a little. Now we can continue on with the mission. And one of the things I realized is I have one of these, which allows is the same thing I got with the White Death, which allows me to see the past. So I'm actually going to use it to see the past. Use item. There we go. You withdraw the coiled mirror caster from your belongings and weigh it in your hands. It is lighter than it appears. The liquid within comes at your touch. The mirror contained within the device does not calm. It hisses and boils, filling your mind with small, clawed shadows. A headache builds behind your eyes, but despite that, even because of it, you feel compelled to sink into it, to let it wash over you. Inspect the mirror caster. The liquid within the tube lies utterly still. Now, no matter which way you tilt the contraption, occasionally a bubble pops against the glass, and something within the device shudders. Enter the mirror. Alright. The sunrise gives out the sea a blazing golden sheen, and all the city from the far harbor shanties to the splendid square just below you basks in its light. The breeze blows fresh and brisk off the water. The song of night birds gives way to the the chatter of clerks and tots, and your black vine hands, twisted like talons, trample on the windowsill. Behind you, men bicker about tests and shins, about a rot that has reached the heart of the brain, and it cannot be cut out. You turn away from the window and face the man. Just as the closest of them, a one-armed servant, is sumptuous garb, cries that there must be more that can be done, whatever the cost. But the other, a Chirurgeon, snaps back, I am no mountain bake like a jalopy, flinging ciphers at the sick till there are no more shins to shake loose. It is not healing to stir false hope, and it's doomed to die. They break off their debate to look your way. You don't recognize them at all, but plainly they know you and expect you to speak. Apologize for your confusion. As you stammer out your confusion, the servant's eyes widen without understanding. He steps closer to you, and in an almost tender gesture, he lifts a hand toward your face. His one arm, his other side smoothly swaddled in silk. I am Cardago, your grace. You know me. And without it quite being so, he is right. Even poisoned as your body is, it feels a fluster of friendship. And this is Aram of the islands. He has been treating your condition. The Charon gives you a slight nod, adding, my services are at an end, your grace. The roots have spread too far, too deep. What the wind sowed must now be reaped. My roots, my condition, roots, the wind. The two men share a quick, obvious glance. A frail body quivers as the gesture. Gotta go draw closer. One touch you, your grace, as he says it. The finger dance as if unbuttoned upon the flat expanse of his maimed side. The iron wind, when it touches, it changes seldom for the better. Your changing was slow. All these years you fought it. The doctors fought it. You fought it together. Islander's voice has known of Cardago's softness. And now you have to have lost. You are leaving this life at last. All that remains is to decide whether you will do so properly. Let's see. What do I want to keep fighting? Aram shakes his head. This is life's one inevitability. The battle you would fight cannot be won. Blows aimed at death always fall upon the living. Those who say otherwise are lying. And the world around you should be proof of that. He slashes the air with his hand in a swift, hard gesture. Medicine is truth applied to suffering. This is why Jalappo is no doctor. Your servants take a half step as if to place himself between you and the Cherrigan and says, "Whatever you choose, your race, I'll be beside you." Tell me about Jalappo? You'll get no good from her, Aram spits. Unless you long to be galled. Dragon smirks at Cardago as he says the last bit. Certain nudge. She trades in false words, no cures. Aram gestures broadly at the ciphers and trophies and treasures that adorn the wall. Your life was full, but the hourglass is empty. Now you must rest for a while, then forever. The deep ache in your skull and spine, the ragged weakness of each breath, and all your body others' voices cry the confirmation of the doctor's words. Then there are preparations to be made. Cherrigan bows plainly, pleased that you have heard his words. They take it, then takes his leave. Cardago watches him go and turns your way. There is work to be done, your grace, but you must rest. I will have the kitchen prepare your broth, and I'll let your family know. He lingers a moment longer without saying why. Then what he wanted or waited goes unspoken. And as he departs, a tremendous weariness overtakes you. Beyond the window, the sun has risen, and the sea is restored to old gray waves, crashed on a solid shore. The hours of rest have won you no strength, and the soup sits uneasily in your stomach. The Cardago dusts your face with the rag to hide its paler slides. White glows over your twisted hands, wraps you in a padded jacket that adds lost flesh and masks the bulbous growths. He tucks and folds and buttons you, at last passes you a looking glass. In your trembling grasp is showing nothing more or less than rotten sickness. You look like a corpse prepared for funeral display. Cardago has hidden nothing. He has so merely framed your condition as a euphemism that others can bear. They are waiting, he says, and he guides you your chair forward. Your eyes flick across the drawing room, alighting on the vast mat covering the far wall, the shining oddment of crystal and azure steel whirling in a corner, the shovels of ancient tomes and writhing fire occasion the hearth. Then there are the men and women, young and old, all gazing expectantly, scores of stares you cannot meet in a sea of unfamiliar faces. On some fear, and desperation are naked. The other guests have done better in their concealment. A neatly groomed man in a neatly fitted officer's uniform sobs messily. He is the exception. Cargo puts his hand on your shoulder and in a hush falls. Your Grace, the family is gathered. To you alone, he says. They await your words. Try to ease their fears. They know you're dying. Your family may be stronger to you now, strangers to you now, but anyone could see their fear, namely that they will fall with you. Followers that they are, you must set them free. You speak of weakness and their strengths, of the darkness you face and the bright days ahead of them. You say that a family is, by definition, more than one member. Too soon your well-worn words run out. Ricardo ushers the crowd from the room. The officers, however, insist on staying, and your servant at last relents. Your Grace, your nephew, Salver, begs a word. He withdraws a discreet distance. Salver has everything you've lost: strength, beauty, vigor, and yet his haunted eyes, condemned eyes, are all too familiar. He bows and, thinking his face hidden, wipes it quickly with a handkerchief. As he rises, he kisses your gloved hand. Your Grace. His voice, for all its glorious tenor, quivers as if he is far weaker than he looks. You have given me so much, and now, as you end draws near, I hope at least to prove my worth. His hurried eyes dart about and he gives you a little speech. Something troubling you? A false smile reveals his brilliant teeth. No, not at all. I have discovered a wonderful opportunity. A mercantile adventure is in need of a leader, a man of precisely my skills, and I need a chance to purchase shares an ongoing concern. Preferred stock. He shudders slightly over the foreign vocabulary of business. I can make good on what you've given me. Prove that your faith in me was wisdom. Smiles, not crumbles. I just need a stock to buy in. You mean shins, of course. Tell me more about the venture. No, it's too fast, too many times. Not without danger, physical danger, I mean. This is why they need a man who can swing a sword. He is injured by a cough from occurring. The venture? Yes, well, it involves certain saleable commodities that are a great demand on the oasis of whatever. Strictly highest workmanship, of course. But sold here like trinkets. So you see exactly the sort of thing a sharp trader corners in the market, so they say. This sounds criminal. Surplus, regardless, that could not be further from the truth. This is honest and good. His words raised blindly in the head. This is lucrative enterprise. The servant sighs audibly. The dull echo behind your eyes. The gloves on your spine. Your nephew absurd deception. All of it drags you downward. Why are you doing this? Servant takes a step back with his eyes watering. I want to prove that everything you did for me, the school, the sport, my commission, these clothes, prove that I wasn't a waste. All All my life I've had to pretend I deserved your love. Your gifts, always knowing I don't, always hearing others laughing behind their hands. He takes a ragged breath. How can I prove you were right? Prove I was worth it. Prove it to myself. From the corner of your eyes, you see Carter shaking his head. Your nephew holds you withered hand with his long, graceful fingers. Please, I just need to help one last time. Apologetically, unthinkingly, he adds, you need to be this evening. There is time. He's so weenie. I don't want to just say no. You know what? Hell with it. Almost instantly, the fearful logo leaves your nephew's eyes. In beautiful serenity, smooth his brow. Thank you, he says softly. And then with a champion's tenor, he vows, I'll make you proud. Carter leads him out from the room. When your servants return, he shakes his head. You have showered that boy in chins, your grace, and shared a great wealth and wisdom to no avail. A person can always be changed. Kurgo flinches at your words, and then scorn falls from his face. After a moment's humble silence, he eases your chair back toward your suite. It has been a long day, your grace. You should rest. A sophoric and on it, Nadine mist brought by Cordy dulls the daggers that stab your nerves, and soon sweet oblivion settles over you. You awaken in the dark night with a certainty that you are not alone. Your uneven heartbeat races, and your bright-riddled eyes strive to find the intruder. Who's there? You hiss. The shadow sits at the foot of your bed, illuminated by the false fire glowing in the cipher around her wrist. As your eyes adjust, her face becomes faintly visible. You recognize her from the gathering. She was at the back of the drawing room, and she left before anyone else. Casca, she answers, identifying herself though by now. Now she knows you've seen her. Or have you forgotten me entirely? I've forgotten almost everything, it seems. You haven't forgotten to spoil Salver. Casca scoffs. You haven't forgotten your three-legged lapdog. At the twist of her knob, Zephyr on her wrist floods you with bright, blinding light. And you haven't forgotten to sleep in silk, either have you. Why are you so angry? I'm not angry, she says in low, dangerous voice. I'm hungry, and I want what you've been feeding my sweet, soft, rotten cousin all these years, your shins. My shins will make you soft like silver. Better grow stronger by earning it from them yourself. Right, I should climb Stitch's cliffs hand over hand till the last bloody fingered and bruised. I'll reach the top and proudly look out over the wide ocean while the sunrise turns all to gold. She says the last in a sneering imitation of your voice. That's it, right? That's how you earn it. She draws closer. Well, I've been climbing all my life, and I've got the bruises. She shines the cipher on her face, where a fresh, livid blotch spreads across her sharp features. Yet there I am, still in the god's damn underbelly, low enough to smell the skits bowing in the waves. So don't tell me that it makes me stronger. I don't want stronger. I am stronger. I want this, she says, ripping your blankets off you. I want my own bed in my own house, and never have to share it. I want shins enough to drown my past, to murder my past, a whole armor of shins, the kind of armor that lasts you, lets you be soft. She leans closer still, but no, your money was far bold, beautiful. It was for bold silver, beautiful silver. When I'm gone, you'll be provided for. Nurse nodded once without saying a word, then darkens the cipher on her wrist. Without its light, the room becomes completely black, utterly silent and empty, but for a whisper of her departure and ever-present pain within you. Weakness and throbbing pain on the morning gifts unblunted by the horrible broth that Gargoyle has brought. That will not stop knocking. By the time the clocks cry out midday, a palsy has seized your left hand. Your servants give you a relic to grip, some ancient creature locked in amber. It slips from the grass and shatters on the floor, but peace flies away. At the moment a caller is announced, her leaves, then returns visible dismay. The medicine, your grace. Without waiting an invitation, your visitor enters a tall man, stiff and slender as a poker, finely dressed and mangled with ciphers. He glows out with a confidence as he gives it a bow. Your grace? At a curt nod from the medicine, Kirby steps you out. Yes, your guest then sits beside you and takes your hand. I have heard, you says softly. Naturally not from Cardago, but for your family cannot help but share their panic with the city. His eyes glisten with fathomless compassion, or at least a fine simulacrum of it. I don't know. The hour against which you prepared for so long has come around at last, and they who surely know the day would come are so unready as house pets. They have leaned on you greatly, but then so have I, and so have your children. He gestures to the leather portmanteau who has he has set at his feet. I am here to bring your plans to completion. How can I help? The medicine's eyes are carefully, then gently nods. I know that your cloud has fallen on your mind. I would give my great joy to lift it. For many years, your generosity has given new hope to the disposed and neglected children of the city. A long lifetime's worth of health and transport that my hospice can provide. Lands alone, your old haunting preserve, and mouths that they now feed, the wrecking field of crafting, and honest labor of gleaning is Numenera. The campus of the hospice itself, and all the lost souls that it houses. As you insist, no one knows of this gift, but us two and your solicitor. She smiles. And now I seek to drink the last drugs of your estate. Oh, a property bag. You may expect the bequest when I am not gone. Medicine beams with gratitude. With that, you could live to see the good your gifts will do. Then he smiles face slightly. There's one other matter of a more personal nature. If you would permit me, I would like to show you a picture of one of my wards. He unhinges the portmanteau's clasp and begins to reach in, as if in response to shaking in your hand grows stronger. Of course. From his bag, the man takes a glass tube filled with a swarm of ants. Next comes rich parchment, which he lays upon the desk. With a dash motion, he pulls the cap from the tube and pours the ants on the page. They skitter madly, but not aimlessly, oozing acid on the page until a half layer etched a flawless picture. You see a young girl, afflicted with the utmost unspeakable corruption. Half her flesh is a wildness of misplaced parts and oozing sores. And one of the cardigo broods, Medicine mutters. Most of them are killed at birth, but the horrors of, if not by him. Embittered a strangled sound of escape you. And the crate burst in. Medicine slips out without another word. This is tough. Yeah, let's confront him. The medicine told me about your children. Corv's face turns red with rage, and then, as he sees the formidograph of his daughter's shame, I see, he whispers, turning away. Face hidden, voice low, and he confesses. I was a man when Coletta let me join you in the board march, and that monster when we wed. Her love never flinched. He begins to pace. Good mind, she wanted a child, but I dared not burden her with another such as me. And he steps forward, his black motes swirl in space between you. Jalopy swore that there was still some good in me, untouched by the wind, that could grow in my wife. He reached out, but I had to know, for her sake. Before you can condemn or absolve, the fit comes and all else goes. There's a lot of reading in this one. The darkness fades in part. The agony stays redoubled through a haze. You see your bedroom and two men beside your bed. Cardio is one. His hand is on your bony shoulder. His companion proper in every pentacle as another stranger. Your grace, you barely hear Cardigo's voice. It is as if your ears are pocked with wet wadding. I brought your solicitor. The man sniffs as you recall your grace. You declined my offer to Dr. Will against this day. He speaks of mortgages and credit lines and accounts payable, wasting your last life on a lawyer's long-winded way of saying what little wealth you truly have left. How you must tell me. How am I to dispose of the residuum? Blah blah blah. Stupid lawyer. Alright, I'm gonna leave this here and then we'll go through all of this next time. So until next time, remember, brace of chaos so you go mad. Bye.